How do you handle stressful situations? Like, do you keep your cool, or you?
I mean, do you see all this gray hair?
Yeah.
That's for every
I
situation
know.
I've
I can.
had.
Yeah.
One of the guys I used to work with at Life in Color, Patrick, like whenever a stressful moment would come up, he'd be like, "Yo, Eric, I just saw a gray hair pop out."
Oh no. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I am your host, Emma Capotis. What is up? Welcome to the podcast. Happy Wednesday, you guys. Before we dive into things, I want to shout out one of our sponsors, Lunautics. If you guys know, Lunautics is one of my absolute favorite festival and beauty accessories. They make all of the face gems, body stickers, hair accessories, hair extensions, glitter that you possibly need to complete your rave looks. I literally always have them in my bags with me. I never go to a festival without them. And they have such amazing new collections. They're always innovating, really cute new designs. And we love to support small businesses in the dance music scene. So I want to shout them out. You guys can use my discount code EMMAK for 10% off your orders. So I'm going to leave that link down below if you want to check anything out from their new collections. You guys can always connect with us at Rave Culture Cast on all of the platforms. Come hang out on Facebook, Discord, all the things. You guys, appreciate you connecting with us, giving us a follow, subscribing, all of the things. All right, with all that out of the way, I want to introduce my guest, Eric Fuller, who I was super excited to have on here as an entrepreneur, as a business professional, as a fan of dance music and festivals. Eric Fuller has had a long and really interesting career in dance music. He is currently based out of Miami, Florida, and he is the founder of BLNK CNVS, which makes these amazing, unique experiences. Again, based in Live, Florida. They also own other venues as well. So they own Celine in Orlando. They have also expanded into Jacksonville and to Nashville as well. But the bread and butter we're going to talk about today is their involvement in Miami Music Week. So they are producing so many events. They are connecting fans with dance music and curating these incredible experiences for you guys. So I want to talk a little bit about his career. We're going to talk about his early days where he was a founder of Life in Color, formerly known as Dayglow, which was personally my first rave I ever went to. So this is like a full circle moment. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how he expanded into the dance music industry, working under SFX Entertainment. He was a co-owner in Space, Miami for a couple years. And again, now he's heading BLNK CNVS, and they've got a jam-packed Miami Music Week coming up. So a ton of ground to cover here. He is a brilliant mind, and it was really awesome just getting to know him and learn, his tips and tricks on networking, growing in the industry, overcoming hurdles in live event production, and how to market yourself as well. So tons of gems in here. Please share this with a friend if you guys enjoy it. Go support BLNK CNVS and Eric's team. I'm going to leave links down below to their Miami Music Week events along with all their socials and everything. So go give them a follow and tell them I sent you. With all that being said, please join me in welcoming Eric Fuller to the podcast. Do it. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast. Today I am joined by Eric Fuller, who is the founder of BLNK CNVS, a prominent event and production company based in South Florida. Eric has a colorful background in dance music. He has operated Life in Color, formerly known as Dayglow. He's expanded to work with SFX Entertainment, has been an entrepreneur owning multiple companies, had involvement in Club Space Miami, and he joins us now in the busiest month of the year. We have Miami Music Week kicking off in just a couple weeks here, and he has jam-packed events going on. So I'm super excited to have him on here to pick his brain about events, marketing, and all good things like that. So welcome to the podcast, Eric. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Emma. Appreciate you having me.
Of course, yeah, I have to let you know, this is kind of like a full circle moment for me because my first rave that I ever went to was Life in Color.
Nice.
Which I'm sure you get that a lot, but
A lot.
yeah,
We get that a lot.
It's a gateway, which I appreciate. Into 2011 in Trenton, that was my first like dance music event, really. So this is like a full circle moment, which is awesome.
That's awesome. What year was that you went?
2011.
Okay, yeah, we used to do pretty well in New Jersey. Yeah, I get that from a lot of people, and I've heard that over the years. And yeah, I would agree. Life in Color was a great introduction to dance music for a lot of people. So
For
Glad
sure.
you got to
Yeah,
check it
those
out.
yeah, no, I went to a ton of, and I think just like, so I was in college at the time. That was like the first rave that I really went to, and that was an introduction. I want to say that the headliner was Fede Legrand, I think, at the time. So
Nice.
it was a good couple of years for music, good time to be in college. But I'm curious, like, how did you get involved in throwing events? Like, what was the first event you threw, even like pre Life in Color and Dayglow?
Uh, it was at college. I was in. It's funny to say it. I was in a fraternity in college, and we used to organize like events. So we are like whatever you call it got kicked off of campus,
Mm-hmm.
and my thought was like, listen, like we're still all friends. Like we had a good network of people. I'm like, let's just keep doing the parties.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of took it upon myself to continue doing events, and I kind of stumbled on really a way to really a way to make money, but I just had a great time doing it. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember exactly like the first event, um, but it was in college. I was I believe junior. I was a junior at University of North Florida. Yeah, and we
That's
did like
awesome.
a, I don't know, some kind of theme party. Actually, it was at the
Sure.
Roxy. It was at this place called
Okay.
the Roxy, and I think it was like $20 to get in, and then you could slip the door guy another $20, and it was all you could
Mm-hmm.
drink.
Yep.
Yeah, and the rest is history. So
That's awesome. It's cool. I like to kind of like go through just kind of like step by step because like anybody else listening too who wants to get into dance music or like the music industry in general, there's just so many avenues and pathways you can go down to like look at where
yeah,
you are now today compared to like where this all stemmed from is pretty crazy. But I mean, paint parties at the time, like I'm just curious kind of like how that came about as well. Like I know you probably built up relationships and like you had an interest in throwing events and things like that, but like how did that kind of era come about for you guys in those first few shows that you did? Like what was the reception like to those?
so I used to do like pre there was two day glows that were kind of happening. There was one with a
Mhm.
W and one with an O. I had the
Right.
one with the O. Eventually, I joined with the one with the W, and then it
Yep.
became Life in Color. But um, I had a roommate that really wouldn't like he wouldn't leave me alone about the party. His name was Kyle Head. We call him K Love. Shout out to K Love. If you're in Miami, you might know him. He really was like, look, we got to do this paint party. I went to he had went over to Florida State University, and he's like, I went to this paint party. It was crazy. It was black lights, and like we got to do it.
Mhm.
And he really wouldn't leave me alone about it. Because at the time I was not really into dance music. I was just like getting introduced to it.
Sure.
Um, and yeah, he was really the one that just like wouldn't stop talking about it. And I'd like seen some photos. I'm like, this actually looks like a good time.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was really Kyle that kind of pushed me to do this event, and we did it. We used like our student loans to kind of fund the event,
Wow.
and a lot of people showed up, and it just kept getting like bigger and bigger. So
Wow.
that's kind of how I stumbled into that specific party.
Right. And when you're at such a young age, kind of like juggling this project as it continues to grow and gain traction, and now like you're touring across the United States and you're like hitting up colleges and things like that, like how do you handle that at such a young age and like how quickly did you just have to like learn and adapt to everything happening around you?
Yeah, well, the when it became like really more of like a business, and let's go to the Dayglow with the W now,
Mhm.
which everyone knows is Life in Color. That
Sure.
that really started taking off. Man, it's been so long I can barely
Yeah.
remember, but I would say like 2011, 2010 is when it really started to
Mhm.
like take off. Like we were touring in Florida, and look, honestly, like the answer is we just were young, ambitious group of guys that I don't think we were really paying attention so much. Like especially in the early days, we were just doing
Mhm.
what we loved. Like we genuinely loved throwing parties. I don't think any
Sure.
of us wanted to put a suit on and go to work somewhere.
Right.
That was like in 2000. That was right after what was 2008, 2009, the great financial whatever it was
Mhm.
called. So like getting a job was not really the easiest thing to do at the time.
Right.
Especially like, if you wanted to be in a specific industry or a career, like a lot of people weren't hiring. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, we were just having a great time. We were figuring it out as we went along. We were passionate about it. And yeah, it was chaotic in the early days. We probably made a ton of mistakes, overspent on money, like overspent
Mm-hmm.
in certain areas that we really didn't need to, but we figured it out. And yeah, we just loved what we were doing. So um,
That's awesome.
we made it work.
Yeah. What do you look when you think about that time in your career or just in your life? Like, what makes you smile when you think back on like some of those memories?
Definitely the people. Um, Thinking about the people, we had a really amazing group of. We had an amazing team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of the people that worked with us, like they're at Insomniac now in really high positions. I know one of the guys that worked with us, Jan. He was like he's just an example, but he's one of the founders of Vibra Urbana, which is like a prominent Latin festival.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
I
awesome.
know Josh Greenberg, like he's out at Another Planet Entertainment in on the West Coast in California. So I think about all those people that really I think had an equal passion for the business, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like just had a great time. We had a lot of fun. So
That's
that
awesome.
thinking of the people and our team definitely makes me happy.
That's awesome. Yeah, and so kind of like after you wrap up that chapter, like what was the transition like after Life in Color? Like I believe was SFX, did they purchase Life in Color? Like they got involved as well or like how did that transition happen?
Yeah, so we were acquired by SFX Entertainment. They had purchased like Disco Donnie, Electric
Mhm.
Zoo, and that was really and also that was definitely a new chapter because now we went from really like a group of young guys and men and
Mhm.
women like running this company to we had like we had adults in the room now basically.
Mhm.
We were a publicly traded company, so we had to do everything from like report numbers, but that was a really, for some people it was a tough transition. I really enjoyed it. I
Mhm.
love like business, and I love the business side of dance
Sure.
music. So I really enjoyed it. But yeah, we were like there's a lot of really great brands and promoters. I became friends with, for example, like Jeff Callahan from React Entertainment. He was one of the founders. I don't know if you remember that
Wow.
that brand out of Chicago. Like he just came to visit my house a week ago with his wife.
That's
Like I made a
awesome.
lot of good friends um, and met a lot of people through that process. But it was like a step up. It was like, okay,
Right.
being in dance music early on, it was a bit of the Wild West, and you could kind of see it
Mhm.
expand yet consolidate in terms of who's professional, who's not. So it was a really interesting time, but it was an amazing experience.
Cool. Yeah, and that time too, just like looking at the expansion of like live events in general, like even some of those first festivals, like thinking back on where they were at in like 2012, 2013, 2014 to the scale that they're at now, like I can't even imagine what it was like kind of being involved at almost like beginning stages where this like scene was exploding, obviously with like the EDM bubble that kind of was like bursting at the time.
Yeah.
Um, it would, and then when did you move to Miami, or was that something that you had done during your Life in Color era, or is that a little bit after?
No, that was during Life in Color. We had decided to move the offices to Boca, which really was um, we ultimately wanted to be in Miami. And once the
Mm-hmm.
company got to a point where we could financially make that move, we did. Um, so yeah, that was like a couple years after being in Boca, we took it to Miami. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And then living in Miami, because I'm like, I haven't been in a minute. I've done one, I think at least one Miami Music Week, but there's something
Oh
about the city when you go there and
yeah.
like seeing dance music thriving there right now even just like makes me so happy. But when you kind of were for like coming up in the scene and everything, like what did you observe then compared to how the music scene has like developed now?
Um, so this might sound a little weird, but I think that like the scene's definitely grown, but it's certainly consolidated. So there's fewer people. I think when I think back, years ago, there's a lot of different smaller promotional groups. I think there are more venues. Real
Mm-hmm.
estate in Miami is really challenging. So I think to like own and operate a venue, if you're not the landowner or have like a low basis in it, it's a little difficult. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, it's Miami's a wonderful scene for music.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely, I think, at the forefront of electronic, for sure. I mean, that's for sure.
Right.
But yeah, it feels like to me, it feels like there's more fans and there's more of an audience, but it feels like there's fewer players, and there's fewer venues. And we're starting to see
Mm-hmm.
that kind of come back a little bit now. Like there's a couple
Sure.
new venues that have popped open, but I can remember almost 10 years ago, we had venues all up and down the East Coast that you could really tap into. And I
Right.
don't know why that is, to be honest, but that would be one of my observations.
Right. And was there ever a question for you to relocate at all, or did you know like you guys wanted to be based in Florida and this was going to be home for you for a really long time?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think like, you know, we all were from Florida. Um, so South Florida really just made sense. Like I was not from
Mm-hmm.
South Florida, so I had to make the move down here. But um, yeah, Miami just felt like a place where it felt like the best spot to do business and dance music outside of
Mm-hmm.
LA and New York. So and
Right.
I think that every year that becomes more and more true. So
Sure. Yeah, and I want to definitely want to get into Miami Music Week because you guys have so many exciting things going on. But I was just curious too, as far as your involvement with space, how did that kind of come about? What was your involvement? And then, yeah, any thoughts you have about kind of like the growth of space as well? Because similarly, I've only been once before, but it's something that I feel like just so many people continue to talk about. It's a part of the culture, and it's really, really cool to see like
yeah,
all of the artists that have come there and the international talent that they're booking. It's amazing. So just curious about that chapter for you as well.
yeah. I mean, that was one of my favorite chapters. It was right after Life in Color, um, and SFX had become this company Lifestyles. It's really the same thing. But I had become a partner in space in 2018. Um, I was close with um, David Sinopoli, who owns 3 Points and or one of the founders of 3 Points. We used to be
Mm-hmm.
pretty close friends. I used to go to his spot Bardot, and we just kind of developed a relationship. And he approached me one day. He's like, "Listen, I got this opportunity to take over space. Would you want to be involved?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I invested really at the time, which is a lot of money for me,
Mm-hmm.
into the project, and you know did as much as I could to help the business. Things from everything from stuff like insurance, and helped us get our ticketing deal. I was doing shows on the ground and on the terrace through Blank Canvas. So that was truthfully one of the best times of my life. I really enjoyed it. I don't really go to the venue anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but I love that place, and I think it's really important to the scene. I mean, I was
Sure.
married at Club Space. We
Oh wow.
literally the week after Music Week, we closed the club down, and I got married there. So
Oh wow. That's
um,
amazing.
yeah, so it's I really don't go there anymore. There's probably a lot we can unpack there, but I don't really want
Mm-hmm.
to dive too much into it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a magical spot. I hope it's there forever. And it was really an awesome time of my life. Like
Oh, that's
waking
awesome.
up at 6 in the morning, I'd go there with
Mm-hmm.
uh, my now wife. We'd go and we'd dance and have some drinks, and that's the cool thing about that
That's
club.
awesome.
Like you you can go there completely sober and have a
Mm-hmm.
great experience, because you can literally go at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's what I
Sure.
used to do. I'd go early in the morning, at least when I didn't have shows. I'd go, catch Solomon for a couple hours. I'd go have coffee and breakfast at all day, and then we'd go to the
Right.
beach. And then I was in bed by like 8 o'clock on Sunday. So
Right.
it was an amazing time.
It's like a lifestyle. See, that's where I fucked it up. I went for my bachelorette party and we were just all from New Jersey, beginners. We were like, we got there at 11 p.m. and I knew I was in for it.
Oh yeah,
I was
that's
like, there's no
amateur.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of learn the waves there. Um, so there's like that 11 to like 2 a.m. crowd, 3
Yep.
a.m. That's
Yep.
like the, you know,
Yeah.
that's the amateur hour. And then you got the
Yeah.
people that think that they're gonna make it till
Sure.
6 o'clock. So they're like, oh, it's 3 o'clock, and they're the sloppiest.
Right.
And then you get the pros that come in at 4, 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
One of my former partners, like, because I used to try to do that. I would try to stay awake, and I don't
Sure.
drink or do
Mm-hmm.
drugs at my venues or at my parties. I just do not do
Right.
that. I think that's something like really important for anybody who's listening that wants to be in this business. You will not make it if you do that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I mean, maybe you will, but anyone I've known that's lived like that kind of lifestyle in this business, usually it just doesn't last.
Yeah. It's
So
great
anyway,
advice.
he told me, he's like, in his Italian accent, he's like, dude, just come in the morning, like wake up, like and I did, and I never looked back after that point. So
Oh, that's awesome. See, you need people to teach you the ways. This is like those moments. I have friends there, but if you're not from there and you go, like I think I posted a clip from this podcast like after I reviewed it saying that, and I honestly got so much feedback on it, which was crazy. And I was like, all right, I know I messed it up, guys. I have to have my redemption still, but I want to get into Blank Canvas because again, this is really exciting for me. Blank Canvas, like I've known your name for a really long time. Like I said, been to Miami Music Week before, and you guys have just like continued to grow and expand. It's really cool to see who you're booking and the venues that you guys have this year. So before we kind of dive into the history a little bit, like want to give you the platform. Like what are you really excited about right now? Like how are things looking just in the weeks before we get into everything?
I mean, it's really just busy. It's just
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot going on. We have, at this phase where we've got most of our our staff's locked in, our vendors, we finalized our plans with the city. At this phase, we're really just focusing on ticket sales, marketing, and then like
Right.
advancing with the artists. So making sure all the artists are sorted out. I mean, we're doing, I truthfully don't know the number of
Yeah.
shows. It's probably over 30 at this point.
Sure.
But we're really just like dialing in the finer details.
Mm-hmm.
The lineups are booked, and I think everything's announced except for like one party.
Right.
And actually that one's announced. We just don't have the lineup. So the full lineup's not announced yet. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's exciting. Like you can kind of start feeling it in the air here.
Yeah.
At least I do. I don't sleep. I'll wake up at like 2 a.m. and check on. I actually deleted the tickets because I would do that. Like
Right.
agents will hit me up and be like, hey, can I get a ticket count? I'm like, dude, I deleted the app because I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, like check ticket sales, like, oh, did I forget my to-do list?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot goes into it, and yeah, it's all hands on deck right now.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I can't even imagine. But kind of like going back to the beginning, do you remember like what was the first Miami Music Week you ever attended, and like what do you remember from that first experience?
I don't remember the year. It might have been 2010. We used to have a 10 at Ultra when it was Dayglow.
Mm-hmm.
So I came for that, and I think the moment I probably remember the most was the Swedish House Mafia 10 on the beach. That
Oh,
was just
wow.
and that might have been a separate year. But man, it was such an epic party. I went to a pool party at the Surf Comer that Emmy Guerra was doing, which we actually now, program the Surf Comer, and Emmy's
Wow.
an amazing person. I spoke to him, this last year, and he was like, dude, I'm actually really happy you're the one, running the pool now. Because I
That's
guess
awesome.
he had a fallout with the venue. I'm not sure exactly,
Mm-hmm.
but we're really thankful to have that space. But those two parties, Emmy had a party there. I don't even remember all the artists, but it was just like, one of my first times like going to a music week party and watching the sunset and all the artists. And I met people from all over the world that loved dance music. And then that
Mm-hmm.
event, that actually was Emmy's as well on the beach, the Swedish House Mafia. That party was absolutely epic. Like your feet are in the
Right.
sand.
Yeah.
And that was just like really at the height of dance music. So a lot of memories there. And yeah, I'm really thankful that I'm now providing those same experiences to, basically dance fans, just like I was 10 years ago attending the show.
Right. Right. Yeah, and it's cool to hear like kind of like how you fell in love with dance music as well. Like you said in the beginning, kind of not as much knowledge about it. You just wanted to like throw these events to where you are now. I believe you're a house head, correct? Is that
Yeah, I
your
mean,
favorite?
yeah, it's kind of evolved. I've always loved progressive house music. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's really been um, like I've just always loved that music.
Right.
But yeah, generally speaking, like I'm a big fan of Anjuna. Chris Lake is probably one of my favorite artists. Like when I
Yes.
first brought
Yep.
him to space, like I pulled him aside. I'm like, dude, just want to thank you because you're one of the
Right.
reasons I fell in love with this music. Um, so yeah, I'd say I'm more of a house head than anything.
Oh, that's such a it's just really cool, and it's like inspiring to hear like you having those moments and like seeing just how you built that for yourself. And I'm sure like what was the vision for Blank Canvas? Like having all these experiences you had that like led up to that point of wanting to start the company and then wanting to provide these events and experiences for people. Like what was the vision when you created the company?
I really just saw like a need for it. You know, at the time we were still a part of when Blank Canvas was founded. It was actually during my time at Livestyle,
Mhm.
and we used to have this company called Committee Entertainment. We had done a bunch of, we were involved in EDC Orlando from the start. A lot of people don't know that, but like we were
Mhm.
really the boots on the ground, like mobilizing the audience and fans, like really involved in the college market. We
Wow.
helped start Sunset Music Festival, which I think they're officially like done in the market.
Mhm.
So, and we were doing these tours all over the state of Florida, and I really felt like that part of the business was kind of gone.
Mhm.
Like there were still promoters doing stuff, but I thought that we really needed that in Miami and truthfully like throughout the state. So I just saw an opportunity. So we started that under the Lifestyle SFX umbrella,
Mhm.
and we started doing shows. At Space and at other. I was obviously when I was an owner there, I was doing shows
Right.
there, and then we were doing pop up events during Basel and Music Week. So the name I actually got from I used to drive like the back streets home, and there was this building that was being built, and it was called like Canvas,
Ah,
and
cool.
I
Okay.
kept like seeing it every day. So I was thinking about this like company and the idea, and I thought about a name, and then I thought like Blink Canvas would be great because
Mhm.
it's kind of plays into the whole like life and color thing, the paint, whatever.
Ah, yep, yep, yep.
And I
Mhm.
really wanted it to be, I wanted that to really stand for, um, like I see us as we're really like the medium to the fans, to
Mhm.
the artist, and everything that goes with it. So, yeah, I think that really more to your question, like I just saw a really great opportunity
Mhm.
and we moved on it.
Cool. Yeah, and even like kind of getting caught up to today, like a huge part of this scene obviously is kind of like relationship building, networking, collaborations, like just networking with people and getting your name out there and then making those connections. So how have those connections that you've made, throughout time or networks you've built up, helped the success of Blank Canvas?
I mean, relationships are really everything in this business. As a promoter, you have to keep your word with the artists, and you have to keep your word with fans.
Mhm.
If you don't do those two things correctly, you're not going to make it.
Right.
I have not known too many people that do those things and are successful, and I've seen people, you know, basically, burn themselves out of this business
Mhm.
by not respecting those two things. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, like early on with Life in Color, I was really blessed. Like we got to travel all over the world. So, and all over the United States. So like I can pick up the phone and, you know, call the promoters in Boston or in Texas. Like
Mhm.
I got to work with really the best people all over the country and in some
Right.
cases the world. So those relationships definitely, I mean, still today, like I'll get phone calls from people that we did shows with, like, hey, I'm managing
Mhm.
this artist now. Can you help me? And we'll do our best to do that. So yeah, they're really important and very thankful for the Rolodex that I have and the people
Right.
that I've, got to work with over the years.
Do you have any tips for people for networking during Miami Music Week? Because even like as somebody trying to grow in this space, I found myself wondering that there's just an energy, like you said, there's people who are enjoying themselves, who want to have like downtime and are connecting with friends or people that they already know. And then, you want to make introductions. So for you, like, how do you prefer to be approached, and any tips for people who want to like get into the scene that want to start networking in a couple weeks?
So I think for Music Week, uh, obviously, like maintain, like I would recommend it's
Mm-hmm.
probably not an easy thing to do, but if you're coming here with the intention to network, at least for me, it's like I don't want to talk to you if you're super drunk or on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've actually had that happen to me before, and I'm just like, dude, like I
Please.
don't have time
Yeah.
for that. Especially
Yes.
during, I don't like that in any setting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but especially during Music Week, it's a huge turnoff for me.
Sure.
I would say that like don't try to hop around and go everywhere. I see that a lot with younger people in the business,
Mm-hmm.
that are like trying to make a name for themselves or network. They think that like they need to hop everywhere. But if you just
Right.
stay put at one venue, you're going to realize that all those people are doing the same thing. So you should
Mm-hmm.
just stay where you're at. Like I would recommend during the daytime, maybe pick one or two parties, stay there, hang out for a few hours, and the same thing at night. If you're bouncing
Mm-hmm.
around from venue to venue, I don't know. I just think you're going to see the same amount of people if you just stay where
Sure.
you're at because everyone else is doing that. So yeah, stay
Right.
put and, have a good time.
Awesome. I appreciate the tips though on either it's being sober and knowing how to pace yourself for sure, because I think like it's probably so easy to ruin a reputation or even just how you treat people. You never know who you're talking. You never know who you're talking to, and like I know for me, my mom drilled into our heads like treat people the way you want to be treated, like no matter
Absolutely.
who you're talking to. And I think that's like such a huge part of it as well. And I'm sure like you said, you met people who you worked with in the beginning stages or at jobs where you were grinding and coming up, who are heads of things now, running labels, like whatever they're doing, who are in major positions, and having that great foundation with them to start. You just never know when that's going to come back around too. So I feel like it's just important to just be a good person at the end of the day as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, those are a must. Those are
Mm-hmm.
all must.
Beautiful. And then kind of like the glaring thing about Miami Music Week, you can see kind of these flyers or schedules. You can go on the website and just see this like never ending list of events that are happening, which can be overwhelming. I'm, for consumers looking at it, especially people getting into the scene, it's just like, how do you pick like what is speaking to you, what looks like it's exciting to you? So for you guys, like how do you stand out on against the competition and other events happening? Like, is there any tactics that you guys use to make your events appealing to fans?
Um, well, I think first off, shout out to our marketing team,
Mm-hmm.
Paul Reed, who heads that up, who's one of the co-founders of the company. He does a phenomenal job with the marketing. I mean, we have and the rest of the team, Justin, Cameron, Gianni, Carly, like couldn't do it without them. But yeah, I mean, I think that like I said this before, like we try to our job here is, we believe anyways, to connect the fans with the artist. So as far as like standing out, obviously we're looking for really what the market like wants. Like we're looking at you know the best possible venue for the artist. So like for example,
Mm.
um, we might have an artist that we know can sell 10,000 tickets, but they want a smaller intimate play. So our
Mm.
job as promoters is to make that match kind of happen and then present it as
Right.
best we can to the fans. And I think the rest kind of sorts itself out. There's a lot of stuff you can do technically with ads and whatever. Our approach at Blank Canvas has always been to be as authentic as possible and really
Mm-hmm.
just do the right thing. Like if you have a canceled event, refund your ticket holders.
Right.
If somebody can't make it because they had a death in their family, like refund the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just provide the best possible experience that you can. Like obviously it's a business, so you got to approach it like that, but
Sure.
we always try to put our best foot forward with production and staffing and making sure that we have enough bars and restrooms and they're clean and there's a place to
Mm-hmm.
wash your hands. Like you'd be surprised, like a lot of people don't do that well,
Right.
and by people I mean promoters. And I think that over time people pick up on that. And
Right.
I drill that into my team all the time. It's like, just do the right thing. And over time, you're going to win. And I
Right.
think, we've been at it for years now. And I think people have grown to understand and recognize our brand. So when they see a party that we're throwing with our logo on it, I think people, they connect with that and they say like, look, we trust that company. I know like during COVID when we had to cancel 20 something events, which was one of the worst days of my life, we refunded everybody within a week, I think. It was really tough financially. But we made it work and we're still here today because of it. I know a couple other promoters that did the exact opposite and they're no longer here. So, yeah, I think that like, again, we pick the best possible talent that we think our fans want. We try to do our best to like work hand in hand with the labels, the agencies to help them like create their vision. And then we just present it in the best possible way that we can to fans.
Sure. That attitude is fantastic. That's really, like, honestly really awesome to hear, because I do think that sometimes there could be people who are going for the money grab or something like that, or not even thinking about the one-to-one interaction like you just mentioned. Like, so I do community management for Beatbox Beverages. That's my full-time job. So like it's my job to discuss, to talk to fans every single day. I'm on Discord, like our ambassadors, I run that program, and like making sure that every single person feels heard and has a good experience with our brand is like the number one thing. So exactly that, like taking care of your customers, because you just never know, like they're going to spread that word to friends, family, their networks and things like that. So I think that is like an awesome attitude to have, to make sure that they're having the best possible experience with your brand overall, in hopes that they'll definitely come back if that's the way that they're being treated, if they can't make an event. But I think it stands out. I think the curation, the choices of events, like you said, the venues, you mentioned a lot of these things are kind of buttoned up already, but when you're planning the Miami Music Week events, like what limitations are you working within? Because I'm sure people see the events at the end of the day and it looks glamorous and it's amazing, but they don't see all the shit that you guys go through on the daily basis. So what's that like?
I mean, where do you want to start?
Right.
I mean, it's like, we really look to align with like-minded people. So a lot of the venues we work with, I've known some of them for years now. I mean, for example, like Mana Winwood, we did a Life in Color there years ago. So that's a relationship I've had for years, and we take good care of their venue. And in return, we get the dates that we want. So, yeah, I mean, it's Emma, it's everything. Like the city, dealing with that. I think over the years that's been really challenging. Not in Miami, but in Miami Beach, it's been definitely more difficult. There's been a lot there, and I think a lot of it has to do with the pressure that they have with spring break. But you'd be surprised. Like we literally go through like a whole building permit just to build a stage. Like we have to follow the same regulations as like you would like you're building anything else. Obviously, like here in Miami, we have hurricanes. We don't have them in March, but we still have to build based on like hurricane standards, which makes no sense, but that's the world we're living in. So whatever. But yeah, it's so much. It's so much.
Sure. And I'm sure you guys have down pat, like year over year, you have some expectations of hurdles that might pop up, but I'm sure you deal with things all the time. Like I feel like I've seen, artist visas not coming through last minute, or like people not being able to make the show and things like that. How do you handle stressful situations? Like, do you keep your cool, or you?
I mean, do you see all this gray hair?
Yeah.
That's for every situation.
I know. I can. Yeah.
One of the guys I used to work with at Life in Color, Patrick, like whenever a stressful moment would come up, he'd be like, "Yo, Eric, I just saw a gray hair pop out."
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, like I do my best, I've learned over the years to try to stay calm. When I was young in my career, I used to definitely freak out, which is not the right thing to do. At the end of the day, like, especially if it's your event and you're the producer or the leader of whatever situation it is, like you got to
Mm-hmm.
stay calm. I mean, I think I'm generally a little more of an intense dude.
Sure.
So I kind of come off that way, but I do my best in stressful situations to just try to remain
Mm-hmm.
as calm as possible. And I might vocalize to my team here and there with a little more energy, but
Right.
externally I try to keep it calm. But yeah, I mean, last year my wife went into labor like 2.5 weeks early with my son. I'm
Oh,
like on the
wow.
phone, like she's just getting her whatever it was called done. I don't even know. And I'm
Yeah.
like in the car on the phone with the city. They're like, we can't grant you a 5-day permit because the city has the hotel has like open permits. And I'm like,
Oh,
listen, like
God.
my wife's going into labor in the next 24 hours. Like we got to figure this out. Like that's the kind of stuff that's happened over the years with
Yep.
Music Week. And like, yeah, people forget like people, I feel like a lot of fans just like, they have no idea. They have no idea. Like
A
we're
thousand percent.
everybody behind the scenes. Like we're people too. We have families, we have lives. So we're dealing with that. And then we're also like dealing with these events, which are
Mm-hmm.
really they're volatile. Like
Yeah.
you got so many things to worry about: tickets, permitting,
Mm-hmm.
staffing. Is someone going to call out? You mentioned artist visas. That's actually not been as big of a deal lately. But yeah,
Right.
look, you just figure it out. You just figure it
Right.
out.
No.
The
No, I'm
show
so
has
glad you
to go
said
on.
exactly. You're problem solving. Yeah, exactly. You're wearing many hats and problem solving and being the person people come to is one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's literally why I do my podcast is honestly representing the fan side and educating people and getting them excited about dance music and feeling included in it. But then also just as I've had experiences on the other side of things too, it's just been like, oh my God, it's so eye opening to see like the grind that goes into it and all the things behind the scenes. And like it, for me, it didn't lose any magic. I still love attending the events and everything just as much, but it's been just such a learning experience to see the other
Yeah.
side. And the kind of want to wrap up asking you a little bit about the marketing because that's something I'm like super, super interested in and passionate about. But
Got it.
as far as you mentioned your marketing team, but how has like influencer marketing played a role in what you guys are doing, and do you have an ambassador program, a street team, anything like that, to kind of like help spread the word in addition to like the traditional marketing that you guys do?
We do have some influencer marketing. Like I said, Paul handles all the marketing stuff. I think I'm really blessed to have him as a business partner and a friend and
Mm-hmm.
helping me run this company because that's one part of that's the only part of the business that I say that I don't even I mean
Mm-hmm.
I'm involved in it, but I don't doesn't keep me up at night because I trust what he does.
Right.
I'm pretty sure we have an influencer program. Our approach with Blank Canvas has always been like the brand first.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of promoters years ago, they would do this thing where they would, you'd build out your ticket scaling, you'd put tickets on sale, and then you'd like instantly discount it with like codes
Mm-hmm.
and $5 off, and then you have to pay the person $5. So we've kind of like we scrapped that years ago, and we're like, look, we're gonna offer what we think's fair, what the market will dictate, and the rest is gonna work itself out over time.
Right.
And we stuck to that. And there's moments when we're like, oh, should we kick back to that? And we didn't. And I think it was really smart of us to not do that because
For
people see
sure.
the brands, they see the shows that we're doing, they know it's quality across the board. The influencer stuff, you know, I know we have some, but I don't think it's nearly as much as probably I would even think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just the right ones.
Right.
And exactly the deals we do with those people, I'm not entirely sure. I just know we
Mm-hmm.
have a few of them.
Cool. Yeah. No, I think it's definitely something like I've been exploring just because I think just the way marketing is changing and what people are looking at. I think even like more community marketing, like you're just seeing so many more people. I think like even with the introduction of TikTok shop, yeah.
Yep.
And like anybody can be a creator or sell a product or something like that. And there's that trust that people build up when it's like a face that they know or again, they like trust their word or they relate to them in some way. And it's like, oh, hey, if
Yeah.
that person is recommending an event, like I really like what they do and we have similar tastes. So I think I'll enjoy their event as well. So yeah, just curious if that kind of played a role in um kind of like
Yeah.
rounding things out here. Oh yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I think there's definitely a place for that. obviously, there's like, I have friends that are considered like influencers, and they're good people, and they mean well. One of my closest friends, Lee Asher, he has this project called the Asher House, where he literally, like, he traveled the entire country in an RV, like, rescuing dogs. And I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
he made it happen. And I mean, he has, like, I don't know, millions of followers. He was on the Ellen Show or Oprah or one of those two. I don't remember.
Right.
But like, he's somebody that I personally know. And when he puts a product out, like, it comes from a good place. Sure, he gets paid
Mm-hmm.
for it, but that was his sacrifice for what he created. So,
Right.
yeah, I think there's definitely a place for it. How authentic everyone is. Again, I think over time people kind of figure out who's authentic and
Sure.
who isn't. So
For
yeah,
sure.
we try to we
Yeah,
try to stick to those.
definitely. And then I guess post Miami Music Week, when you guys are wrapping things up, one, I want to know how you unwind. Do you get to go on a vacation after?
Yeah.
Do you get a break?
Well, I have two children.
Aw, how old?
So my daughter is 3, and my son will be 1 in March. He's a
Oh,
music
that's
week
so
he's a
exciting.
music week baby. Um,
Oh, that's awesome. My son is
yeah.
6 months, so I'm right behind you.
Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go. I love to surf. Like, I love the ocean. Um, and I'll probably take a little surf trip if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then honestly, like, I just want to spend time with my kids. So I'll
Oh, yeah.
definitely, like, take a couple days, go to the ocean. That resets me. And
Mm-hmm.
then, there's still a whole nother side of this too. Like, again, this is stuff that people probably don't know, but we spend 6 months, at least 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
planning Music Week, right? And then
Right.
you have 2 days, 3 days of load in. Then you have the events, which are from noon to 5 a.m.,
Right.
right? And you do that for 5 days, and then you have a couple days of load out, and then I've got to I got to unwind all the events. So I have to pay
Mm-hmm.
vendors, settle things, get equipment around. There's at least a month or two of, like, post work that goes into this.
Wow.
So I'll
Yep.
take, like, a quick break, do some surfing, go to the beach, spend time with my kids, just
Mm-hmm.
try my best to unwind. And then a week or two later, I'm back at it, like, making sure all of our staff get taken care of, paid
Mm-hmm.
out, artists are paid, and just, yeah, cleaning it all up.
Right.
So
Right. No, it's cool. Thank you for shedding a light on everything going on. And yeah, I have a newfound appreciation for parents who juggle,
yeah,
work, but also like the nightlife industry is a tricky thing too as well. Like your
oh
hours
yeah.
are different. You work weekends. It's a lot to juggle that with like little ones as well. So it's yeah, I see you and I
When are
feel you.
you? No, please. So are you coming down this year?
Not so this year I'm doing Beyond Wonderland for the first time with Beatbox. Beatbox is sponsoring Beyond. So I'm going with Beatbox to like work that. But
Nice.
next year I need to come back. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let us know when you're here so we can take good care of you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, I guess lastly, what is the future of Blank Canvas? Like I know you're based in Florida, but I believe are you guys expanding to Nashville as well, or has that already happened?
That's already happened. We so again, another Life in Color connection. Cameron,
Mm-hmm.
who's he's quickly becoming our lead talent buyer. Cameron Innes, he used to work for us at Life in Color. He moved to Nashville, and Paul kind of mentioned it one day, like, "Hey, this guy Cameron, he's in Nashville. He's really hungry to do stuff." And I'm like, "I kind of remember him. He's a good kid." So we had a conversation, and I actually have some, like, family that moved to Nashville, so I'd
Mm-hmm.
been spending time up there, and thought it was a really cool. That's actually Cameron calling me right now. I thought it was a really good market and a really good opportunity, and felt there was like, it had not been served properly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we decided to do our first show. We definitely didn't make money, and flash forward to today. I think we've really gained the trust of the market. We have a couple deals with venues where we exclusively buy. We just announced, like, 2 days with Zed's Dead.
Awesome.
We brought a ton of great artists there. We have a a ton of great artists in the future. So yeah, the future. So we're really active there. The future for BLNK CNVS is actually going to be still the touring that we're doing, but we are in the process of opening venues. So we just bought Celine Orlando, which is in Orlando, Florida. It's a 700 cap venue. So I bought that personally with some other partners, and then BLNK CNVS has the bookings there. So we're really, really excited about that. And then we're planning to do stuff outside of the venue, building a venue in Jacksonville, Florida, which will be ready in September. That's another market. I went to school there, UNF. So it's it's a very special place to me. And like, I've always dreamt to do something there.
Sure.
So that will be opening in September. That'll be like 1,000-ish cap venue. And then we haven't announced this yet anywhere, but we are opening a venue in Miami.
Amazing.
Yeah, it will not be open 24 hours.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking to compete in that category. We want this to be, we used to have a venue here called Grand Central that was just a great little live venue. You could see everything from a dance show to a live band. And that's really what I want for this space. Really want it to be a place where any promoter is welcome to do shows, whether that be dance music, comedy, rock, hip hop. Like, we want it to be open to everyone. I think it's like,
sick.
I think it's really important for touring to exist. And you need these smaller venues, which the category we're in, that 1,000-ish range, is considered smaller venues.
Sure.
It's really the breeding ground for the future. So we're making those investments, and that's the future. We have a couple bigger projects we're going to announce after Music Week. So you'll hear about those soon. But yeah, we're going to keep doing what we're doing and connecting the dots, connecting fans with artists, and giving everybody the best possible experience.
That's so awesome. And where can people connect with you or connect with BLNK CNVS? Anything else you want to plug before I let you go?
No, our on our Instagram and Twitter, it's BLNK CNVS. I do not have Twitter personally. I have an Instagram. It's just @EricFuller. I don't have a TikTok. We have that. BLNK CNVS does, but again, it's never about me. It's about the brand. Sure. But yeah, if anybody has any questions or whatever, feel free to drop me a note. I don't always check social media, but I do my best. So I'm happy to lend a hand where I can.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I'll link everything down below. If you guys are going to Miami Music Week, like, definitely check out the events. It's going to be an amazing experience. So I'll list the events with all the tickets if you guys want to check anything out. Eric, it was awesome learning from you. I want to thank you for what you're doing for the dance music community and for fans of live events. It's like really, really cool and inspiring to see everything that you've done in your career. I'm excited to follow along with it. And I hope you have an incredible Miami Music Week and you get to enjoy yourself and not too many gray hairs this year. We're going to pray for the best.
Yeah. Thank you, Emma. I appreciate it. And thank you for what you do as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's definitely stay in touch, and everybody go give a follow and support, and I will chat with you soon.